So we've written about the sonnets now since 2004, and we tried to debunk those myths in our 2004 book, and since in I don't know, maybe three
Several
articles,
articles that we've
um,
written.
and and just more and more we looked out across Shakespeare criticism and heard other papers on the sonnets and read other books on the sonnets, and our message was just not, it wasn't cutting any ice with people's readings of the sonnets. And we thought, well, what can we next do? And it's actually, we think now it's taken an edition of the whole of the sonnet corpus to try and break through this. Now, I think somebody said a moment earlier in this discussion that those stories are probably going to remain for quite some time. On Monday next week, I'm co-chairing a seminar on Shakespeare sonnets for the Shakespeare Association of America, and one of the papers is about the enduring quality of those stories that we've been trying to debunk, not in a in a way that that person hopes that they'll remain. It's just basically saying, well, this is a fact because they've attached themselves to the popular imagination in relation to these
And not
poems.
only to the popular imagination, they're repeated by reputable scholars. As
Yeah.
I say, the Norton edition, for example, a very popular edition in America, introduction by Stephen Greenblatt, great scholar as he is, nevertheless reproduces this old, quite totally false narrative that the first
Yeah.
126 are all addressed to,
And you see it in editions of the sonnets as well, when the commentator, whoever it is, will say, "Oh, another sonnet addressed to the young man," and you look and you think, "There's nothing about this poem that tells me that it's addressed to a male.
I
Nothing
think
whatsoever."
I think the myth is perpetuated partly because the first 17 of the sonnets are addressed to a young man. They are addressed to a young man. They're clear. They are a sort of mini sequence
They are mini
themselves,
sequence.
and in which the poet is addressing a young man, probably I think an aristocratic young man, and suggesting that he ought to get married. At the same time, in doing that, nevertheless, the poet is expressing very close affection and even love for the young man himself. So even these are quite complex emotionally.
So, because the human mind is a great kind of unifier of difference, that initial sequence has kind of cast a long shadow across the rest of the collection, and people have thought, oh, well, they're all addressed to
Yeah,
this same subject.
they don't go on and read
And
it.
in fact, when you look closely at the terms of address, as we have done, you'll find that some of them are addressed to a you, some of them are addressed to a thou, and addressed to male subjects, to a you or a thee, and in different terms. So sometimes Lord of my love, sometimes it's sweet boy, sometimes it's my dear love, and other forms of address which suggest different subjects, not the same person.
Yeah.
So we're very open to the likelihood, or rather it seems more and more certain, that they're addressed to several different subjects over a long period of time, and that Shakespeare's gathered them all together and ordered them.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the female subject. It's absolutely the same with the person in the story who weirdly has been called the Dark Lady, which is a critical term now that is being debunked. But then, because it's attached itself to the popular consciousness, it's very difficult to erase it, to change it. And I'm aware every time I mention it, I'm somehow reaffirming it, which is the last thing I want to do. Remember Virginia Woolf, when she was writing about killing the angel in the house, which was whenever a female writer thinks she has to try and be good and domesticated, stop doing it, write something else. And she uses the phrase, throw the bottle of ink at the angel in the house. I say, throw the bottle of ink at the young man and the dark lady, because they shouldn't be existing in sonnet criticism anymore.